1. Welcome. You guys are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative and Projects. I'm your host, Melissa Sharee, with Eric Seats, Grammy-award winning producer, father, man of many talents. Y'all know I usually go hard on the intro, but we have a special featured guest artist today with us. Lorenzo is in the house. And let me tell you about Lorenzo. Don't say hi yet, Lorenzo, because I got to give you the big hyped up intro for all the hype that you are. So Lorenzo Frank is what one might call a Renaissance man. Okay, he is a writer, a poet, theatrical director, and a performance artist that wears multiple hats. I myself have personally worked with Lorenzo as a fellow cast member. I have worked under his direction. And then he has also been a founding member of the Board of Creative and Project. So we have worked together for, I don't even know how many years now, but we go back. His most recent work is the newly released CD by his group, The Intercourse. Awesome. That name right there, doesn't it, y'all? Entitled Gathering of the Seekers, which is now streaming on all platforms. We'll get into that some more. He's currently working on the final stages of his first children's book about his daughter Nzinga. And at the end of last year, he finished his first full feature film script, which he plans to produce sometime this year. He's originally from Nolens. Did I say that right, Lorenzo?
Yes, you did.
All right, New Orleans, Louisiana, the birthplace of jazz, delicious cuisine, and incredible down-home Southern hospitality. Lorenzo, welcome to For the
Artists. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Sweet. So we're gonna get right in, okay? Eric and I are gonna tag team on asking you some questions.
Let's go.
So that you can, enlighten everybody that's listening, and it will be some encouragement for folks that are struggling possibly or just moving forward on their way. So let's start at the very, very beginning. When you were a youngster, what did you see for yourself in terms of dreams or a dream?
Growing up in Louisiana, as I said, New Orleans is the birthplace of jazz. So I was always surrounded by music and talented people. I mean, if you go down Bourbon Street, you're going to see street performers and just a plethora of amazing talent. There's just local down-home people from the neighborhood. So I was always around that. As a kid, we were always in talent shows. So we were doing dancing, singing, poetry, all of that, in like junior high, throughout high school. And then it just went into, once I graduated, I went to college for theater arts. And it's just been going on ever since.
What was your major in the arts at the school?
Well, that was my major, theater arts. I was a theater arts major.
Theater arts, you said. Yeah. Okay, I didn't hear the theater part.
Yeah, I was a theater arts major.
Right on.
How did you choose that major? If you were seeing all of those things and kind of engaged in it, how did you be like, theater arts, that's the one to focus on?
Because it was like, I felt like, I was like always acting, and theater arts, it covers everything. It's stage management, stage production, directing, acting. It covers the whole thing. So I had an opportunity to build sets, and to work behind the scenes as well as on stage. So it just covered everything that I really wanted to get into. So it was it.
Awesome, man.
Okay, so nobody helped you see that? You just saw that on your own? I mean, did you have a support system or anybody that was in your ear?
I actually did. Because honestly, I was the second of the family to go to college. My two older brothers didn't go to college. My older sister did. And of course, she's a school teacher, administrator. And then I came like right behind her. She's 2 years older than me. We both are Geminis. People think that we're twins, but she's older than me. And so I was encouraged by her, you know, just to go to school, but that passion and that gift from the creator was what guided me into the arts.
Right on. I believe in that big, following your passion. And I don't know, Melissa. I don't. If, is it true for you that somebody necessarily guided you, or did you follow your own heart? Because I feel like I did as well.
That you just did it. I feel like my mom was kind of always um in my corner. It's interesting because the I think the drive and the passion and the talent was there. It was like innately in me, like you said, Lorenzo, the
Mhm.
creator. It just, he just endows everybody with gifts, and I
Mhm.
had those. But I think my mom was instrumental in allowing me the opportunity to actually explore that. There are some people that have parents that don't necessarily
Push them.
support,
Exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think my mom was instrumental in allowing me to, like, the green light. You know what I mean? Like, having her support. Even if she didn't give me the green light, eventually I would have still pursued it. But it
Uh-huh.
was so much easier to do it at a young age because I did have that.
Correct. Lorenzo. So,
Yes,
is it more so? So you have you're into spoken word, correct?
absolutely.
Is that probably is that the more dominant thing right now?
Um, I guess you could say it is because that's something that I do consistently. I host a poetry and spoken word venue that's we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary here in Los Angeles, one of the longest running open mic poetry venues in LA.
Where can we find out about that more?
Uh, I post on Instagram, on Facebook. There is a page on Facebook called Swam, SWAAM, Swam Poetry. You can pull that page up on Facebook and you'll see all past artists and the events that's been going on for several years on the page. We just started at a new venue late last year because we were shut down for several months because of the pandemic. And then as soon as things were lifted where you can actually have something but outside, we found this beautiful venue with this huge patio with cabanas and fire pits and it's just really lovely. And we opened
Where's
back
that
up there.
located? Where's that located? Just in case we want to stop by.
That is located in the heart of downtown Inglewood. The
Okay.
address is 122 North Market Street, and the venue is the Creative House.
I've been
Which,
near there. I played not too long ago near there.
yeah,
Right,
so
okay.
that's where we are now. And with the recent shutdown, we're going for like about 3 months. We're back up and running, and it was beautiful. We're selling VIP booths with bottle service and fire pits, and we had it going on, and it got shut down again. So we've been shut down for the past couple of months, and we're looking at coming back in
Mhm.
the first Friday in March, actually. So next month, we're looking at returning.
First Friday in March. Okay, we're gonna mark that on the calendar.
Yes. So
All right.
that's what I've been doing kind of on a regular basis, as well as the spoken word music, which
Uh,
is the CD that we just dropped at the end of last year. The group that I've been working with.
so you
Intercourse.
multitasking.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Okay, question. All right. So, let's go back to the dream and what you saw or what you see now currently. Okay. So you're working in theater arts. You obviously saw that for yourself. You pursued it in college. But when it comes to a bigger specific picture, did you have one for yourself? Or did you just have a general idea? The reason I ask that is because oftentimes I come across artists who are still trying to figure out whether or not what they see for themselves is like really something they should see for themselves, if that makes sense.
It does. And I did, and it kind of changed, you know, because life happens,
Mhm.
and in this particular industry, when you're dealing with theater or acting or film, it's a really tough industry. I mean, you got to have some really chops and tough skin,
Mhm.
otherwise you end up giving up, you know, so life happens and you got bills to pay. So you'll end up working a regular job, but still, you know, dabbling in your thing on the side, you know. So I went through that phase, you know, and I did a lot of theater, but I didn't do hardly any film or TV stuff, which I kind of wanted to do more of. And then I got an opportunity to do a little bit of that. And then, like I say, life happens, and I kind of like went on a little hiatus and just worked regular stuff just to pay the bills, you know. And then, but I never stopped writing, and that's the main thing. I consider myself a writer, so I never stopped writing.
One thing that I know is true about the arts is there are seasons in everything, and a lot of times we want to dictate what it should look like and feel like, and unfortunately, we end up wearing hats that we didn't aspire to wear. But they're all, nothing was in vain. You know, whether it was what we wanted to do at the time, and you know, but just all inclusive. I feel like that it's important for us as artists to realize that it's important to be able to wear those many different hats during different seasons, called different. Things are changing, and you mentioned things closing down, and us having to be resourceful in our arts,
Exactly.
and just coming up with clever ways, but without procrastination, because life is still, these bills are still coming consistently. So
Indeed.
it's not time to just sit and woe is me, and no, it's time to. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I have had to utilize my resources in the arts, and then actually get outside of just being an artist or being a hands-on musician or a writer or performer, and do different things that to keep what we want to call the arts afloat. So you know, I commend anybody that's active, consistently active, and not, you know, without any excuses. So it sounds like you on the move, Lorenzo, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And I can't wait to work with you on something.
That'd be great. And it has been a steady grind, you know, and I give thanks because in 2020, which has been just a roller coaster of a year for most people and a horrible year for a lot of people, it was a very prosperous year for me. You know, I stayed busy the entire year. You know, we did the CD. I did a lot of other stuff. I completed the film script. You know, I got a lot of offers for different things, and I made a lot of money in 2020. So it was really cool.
Lorenzo, aren't you a part of creating the work as more so than looking for the job?
Yes, absolutely.
It sounds like you're in that position. So I think that's a lot of times for many artists, that's the scary part, the responsibilities, the accountability. And a lot of times it's up to us, especially, I'm an advocate of graduating. Just because we're out of school doesn't mean that we don't need to further graduate in life. So even making sure that we are a part of the institution of creating jobs and opportunities for other people. And I always feel like when we're brave enough to attack that, everything will be taken care of. Like when you aspire, when you dream and pray for wanting to pay people as opposed to just getting paid all the time, I believe that comes, you know, that like there's power in that.
Absolutely. And I experienced that when we were just sitting because of the pandemic with SWAM, and we were already in mind that our old venue wasn't working for us. We kind of outgrew it. So we're looking for a new venue. So out of the blue, a friend of mine who is the proprietor of the Creative House just hit me up one day. He's like, Lorenzo, people been bugging me, man, about getting some stuff started at the gallery, and they keep asking me about spoken word, man. So if I want to do some spoken word, I want to do it right, and you're the only one I want to do it. So I'm like, so let's sit down and have a meeting and see what we can come up with. So we had this meeting, came up with contracts, and we ended up landing at the Creative House, and I was able to hire a food vendor. We have like a wine bar. So now I got people working with us and working for us, and it just worked out beautiful. So, and it just like kind of like evolved into what it is, you know, effortlessly.
Like the like-minded individuals always surface into the same scenarios. One thing I admire about spoken word is it's always a peaceful environment.
Exactly.
And so you have room for leverage and growth with that diversity, because what it attracts is positivity. It seems like any spoken word event that I've been to is always very zen, always super.
Indeed.
Like,
you got that.
And so that alone is just, contributing to the neighborhoods and different things like that in a positive light like that. That's just going to work itself out, I believe, in the universe. So I'm not surprised that you made a lot of money last year.
But you know what? I also wanted to say, because Lorenzo, you just said out of the blue, right? But you also opened up by telling us that you were celebrating your 10th year of speech, right? So this is 10 years of you investing, putting in work, grinding, developing and nurturing relationships. So I would venture to say that it's not totally out of the blue. You've been sowing them seeds. You know what I mean? And one of the episodes that we did was about digging your ditches. And for 10 years, you were digging your ditches, and and then it made way for God, creator, right, to open up an opportunity when you weren't expecting it. And I think that that's the beauty of us doing our part in the natural, because it opens up, you know what I mean, for God to do the supernatural and to meet us where we are with what we've been doing. Would you say?
Absolutely. That's like people that when they make it big, people be like, well, they're an overnight success. But no, they've been grinding for 10, 15 years, and they just got that breakthrough where everybody sees it now. So you're absolutely right.
That preparation is everything. And like, because and if it is overnight, that's a thing to be worried about, because you won't have the foundation. I pray for gradual growth. That way I can understand the different stages that are going on, and it's just not, you hit the lottery one day and then you lose it all tomorrow. You have that stability and that knowledge to fall back on, and that those failures are key.
Yes.
Knowing
and you build relationships along the way as well.
That's the most important thing. That's the real wealth, I believe. The real wealth is in relationships and other people and their experiences, because I can only do so much in my lifetime, but what you contribute and what you've been paying attention to and investing in and studying and becoming, those are the things that it takes a team. Like when I put together teams, I make sure everybody does something totally different. I better be the only musician, creative person like that. Everybody else needs to be contributing in a way, shape, or form that I didn't have time to pay attention to in my little lifespan.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Lorenzo, I got a question for you. Because see, you just talked about like some failures, right? And so I want to know from you, Lorenzo, just some, I guess, insight, tips, feedback in terms of like pitfalls, things to avoid. Like where have you procrastinated or missed some goals, not done what you needed to do, and how did that affect your journey up to this point? Like what sort of wisdom do you have in that area of artists so that they could avoid some of those things?
Well, one thing that I'm constantly learning, and it's manifesting more and more as I grow into these arts and to bigger and better projects, is to not try to do it all by myself. I mean, I had this mentality where, I don't really need any help. I got this, I'm going to do the writing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, instead of building that team and collaborating, with more and more people. And I'm learning that, and it's been a long process, and it's been, a hard head to like, let it sink in that you need help. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to accept help. And it's okay to share the wealth, by accepting help. Because a lot of times people want to do everything themselves because they want to keep all the money, when it hits, like, I'm reaping all the benefits because I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the this, I'm the that, but yeah, it makes it so much easier
The key
And,
thing is to become an executive producer.
so it makes it so
to know,
much easier when you got a team that see the vision with
yeah,
you, and they can come along for the ride, and everybody can benefit and,
that's
and,
right.
and reap the benefits from the success of your project, whatever it may be.
I
So
think
that was a hard lesson that I had to learn, and I'm still learning it, but I've gotten a whole lot better, you know, in accepting help, and sharing the wealth, you
mhm.
know. But yeah, there's been times when I procrastinated, and uh life happens, and you get busy, and you got to take care of kids and family and bills, so you kind of like put stuff on the back burner,
Yeah.
but you have to really be more disciplined. And for me, it's I don't know if you ever seen the movie The War Room.
What's the name of that?
The War Room.
War Room.
It's a Christian movie,
Okay.
spiritual movie.
Oh, is that where his prayer is? It's like the prayer room is the war room.
Exactly. Her
I
prayer
did
room
see
is the
that.
war room.
Okay.
So I kind of have a war room.
Uh-huh.
And it's a closet, just like, so I have this huge walk-in closet. For people that know me, I'm kind of a dresser, so I got gear. So I'm dressed down today, but I got gear, and I have this huge walk-in closet. I have like the top of the closet is like my shoe rack, and I got probably about 75 pairs of shoes, which is a lot of shoes for a man, right?
So that's all right.
Caesar's like, I got 75 pairs too.
Right, so I got this huge closet, but within the closet, I have an altar set up. I have my ancestral altar. I have the candles and the crystals and all of that, and there's times when I just have to go in there, close the door, light the candle, and it's dark, just nothing but the light of the candle. And I commune with the ancestors and the creator. And I do positive affirmations. I do meditation and prayer to keep me focused and disciplined, that I may not procrastinate. And I do a daily to-do list every single day. And at the top of every day, and I don't always do it every day, but it's on the list every day, is to work out,
Mhm.
write,
Mhm.
and meditate.
Mm.
That's on top of every day today's list, to-do list.
Mhm.
But there's always another 7 or 8 things that I have to do, and I check them off every day as I
That's
go. And I don't always get through all of them every day.
But no, something's getting done. And
Yeah, but something's getting done. At least half going to get done, and a lot of days, every single thing on the list gets done.
that's a nice regimen. And Melissa always says something to the effect, and I might not have it, verbatim, but you always say something to the effect, Melissa, just by him waking up and doing that, he's, somebody's not able to do what they need to do if you're not on your thing every day like you need
Oh
to
yeah. If you don't show up and be who you are supposed to be or who you need to be, then someone else is not going to be who they're supposed to be, because we affect other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Cause
that routine,
and we're all connected.
that's right. That's right. We can't, as much as like you spoke of earlier, as we like to try to, because I know how I am, and sometimes the team doesn't have as much energy as I might have, or the drive or something like that. But just even understanding that we need rest as well, so we can get a lot more done than what we could even fathom with a team than what we think we can by ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I'm constantly learning that. But as long as they're effective members,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
effective members and holding their own way.
Absolutely.
So you kind of already pre-answered another question that I had for you, Renzo, and because I was going to say, what are you doing now in order to continue to be able to endure? Because you're not where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't arrived at the place of
Right.
you know what I mean? You keep pursuing more and wanting more, and so what are you doing to make sure that you make it to that place, that you can go the distance?
Well, I'm just being consistent. As I say, I'm consistently writing. I'm consistently creating, and I have several projects that I would say is on deck. You know, a couple of major ones, and uh, my mentality is always that everything is in divine order. So as long as you stay consistent, you write things down, and you check things off as you're building and pursuing your goals and your aspirations. You check things off. Then you're going to continue to get closer and closer to those goals. So what I'm doing right now, uh, I'm doing the children's book. I've been wanting to do this children's book for a couple of years. I was in bed one night a couple of weeks ago. I would say almost a month ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it just hit me. And I got up, grabbed my notepad, and I wrote the whole book that night.
Because it was in you already. What's so funny is us as creators, I don't think I can even keep up with my ideas.
Right.
And they always, I do things in seasons too. Like certain seasons, I have more energy to apply to this dynamic, this idea. And in other seasons, I'll invest in it to this one. So it's funny what's on the menu of what's to come. And I'm sure that all three of us, can relate to that. But that's a healthy thing. That's a healthy thing because that gives us incentive to want to do more and do better. And I think it's important not to have a finish line or a finale in sight. I can't wait to see what I'm good at. And I'm sure you can relate, Soldier, because it seems like you have, a lot going on, man. And
absolutely. So the children's book's on deck. I'm actually interviewing and meeting with illustrators right now to illustrate the book. So my goal was to have the book come out this month, which every illustrator I talked to was like, "You tripping?"
They just don't have the energy you have. That's all. They just
they're like, it's gonna take at least 5 or 6 weeks. They're telling me. So I'm like, okay, I'll pause. So that's on deck, and I'm putting the pieces together for the film. Okay. Now, obviously, we need funding because this is going to be a full feature film movie. But the script is entirely done. It's edited. It's copywritten. I have most of the cast that I want in my head already, and images are just like coming to me. It's going to take place in LA, and there's so many dope images in LA. There's a lot of murals, that I love. And the film, like LA is actually going to be a character in the film. Okay. The city of LA is going to be a character. So you're going to know that you're in LA in this movie because you're going to see all these dope murals. And one particular mural by my house, it covers the whole side of this building. And there's a scene in the movie where one of the main characters is going through some stuff with his significant other and his best friend, and he's pretty much done with them. And he's jogging along the railroad tracks, and he comes alongside this building, and on the side of the entire building, and this is a real mural right by my house, is the word forgiveness. And at the end of the S is a little boy like he painted on the wall.
Yeah.
Wow. So stuff like that's going to be in the film. And it's going to hit when you see these images. So it's like, I'm excited about it.
I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be in it.
All right, so you guys, we are down to, we have about 5 more minutes worth of time. So Lorenzo,
yes,
another quick question for you. So would you say, I mean, you already talked about going into your war room, your prayer room, right? You meditate. I mean, that's where you download, right? I'm guessing. So in terms of like what you see, because you've already said that your journey keeps evolving, right? So in terms of what you see or what you are going to see in terms of the evolution of your journey, your life, your dream, how are you putting yourself in a position to see new things?
Well, I'm doing things differently. there's a lot of things that I wanted to do uh, that I either didn't have the money to do it or I didn't have the knowledge of it. One of those things is I'm investing in the stock market. I'm investing in cryptocurrency, and I'm actually making money doing it. And I'm learning it and I'm studying it. And I'm realizing how a lot of the really rich people, millionaires, that's how they got rich. And it's not that complicated.
No, let the money
So
work for you.
I'm putting myself in a position financially to make moves that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to make, in the past because I didn't have the funding or because I didn't have the knowledge to create this type of wealth. And I'm looking at family more like generational wealth, which is we as Black people should have been looking at for a long, long time, and I think that's the key, when you're no longer here, that not only did you leave some type of legacy. But you left something for your children,
Man,
and their children.
Yeah.
So I'm doing things a little different. I'm moving a little bit differently, and the focus is definitely on family, creating generational wealth, taking care of each other and taking care of our people. I have one of the projects that I'm working on uh, that I think can be as big as Black Lives Matter, and it's called the Black Family Movement.
Hey,
Okay.
that word movement it's been in my view for this whole week, and I just got through listening to something else on the Clubhouse. But wow, that movement is coming back and I'm listening to it, and I'm gonna let it resonate, and I'm gonna join as many movements as I can because I know
y'all's already part of one, okay? Because Creative and Project is a movement for artists. All right.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
you just dropped the nugget, Lorenzo. I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna keep repeating it, because when you move different, you see different. That's basically what you just said. You move different, you're gonna see different.
Right.
So, all right, we got 2 minutes, fellas. Any final last words or thoughts? See, Lorenzo, what y'all want to say? I'll pass the mic.
You start with me?
Yeah, let's start with you.
Okay, I would just want to encourage everybody to keep at it, even in different times, because no matter what, nothing occurs to God, nothing is a surprise to Him, and He doesn't put more on us than what we can bear. I lost a couple great friends in the past month, and I just want to send prayers out and my condolences to their families. And everybody be well, be as safe as we can be out here, and keep chiseling away at your dreams.
Indeed.
Right. Lorenzo, what's your final words and thoughts?
Yes, I would say take care of each other. Take care of your family. And we as a people, we have a long way to go, but all we got. And if we don't support us, who will? I just met this young man from New Orleans. He's in New Orleans right now. I'm in LA, and I just put a post on Facebook. I'm looking for an illustrator for my upcoming children's book, and all kind of my friends start sending me these referrals. And one of them happened to be this young man that's an artist going to school in New Orleans, and he hit me up, and I'm getting ready. He and I are actually supposed to speak sometime tonight about him possibly being the illustrator for the book. So we all we got, family.
We're all we got. Yes. And you know what? That's a wonderful thing to wrap right there, because I'm going to say this. The 3 of us are on this Zoom, but we have been connected on our journeys, right? It's like we are journeying together.
Indeed.
Seeds and I have journeyed together. Lorenzo, you and I have journeyed together, and now we're intersecting again. And the 3 of us are going to continue to journey together, and however that unfolds. But you're right. It is important for us to have each other's backs, to support each other, to uplift one another. I want to thank both of y'all for being on. This has been an amazing time, and we do this every Thursday. Lorenzo, we probably have to have you back.
Indeed.
If you'll have us.
Absolutely.
All right.